The twin moons of Azura 9 hung low over the domes of the Galactic Coalition's most prestigious institution, Vanguard Space Academy. It was here, beneath sterile glass corridors and echoing steel halls, that the future of interstellar peace was molded. Cadet Jace Nolan, freshly transferred from Earth's orbital academy, stood at attention in the assignment chamber. His pulse thudded beneath his regulation uniform. Around him stood dozens of cadets, humans, Zyrans, Jextil, and one particularly massive Delgarian. But all eyes kept flicking toward the far wall where instructors awaited with data pads. Jace had studied the Academy's customs. He expected to be paired with a senior cadet mentor, maybe a second-year human. Instead, he blinked when the robotic voice called out. Cadet Jace Nolan. Assigned mentor, Commander Virellah Threx. Species, Kirelli. Rank, Elite Combat Strategist. Sector clearance, Alpha. Whispers erupted. Did they say commander? He's not getting a cadet mentor. A Kirelli commander. They don't even like humans. Jace's brow furrowed. He didn't know what a Kirelli looked like, but the gasps told him enough. This wasn't normal. A tall figure approached, elegant, yet utterly alien. Her lavender skin shimmered faintly under the lights. Slender, armored limbs moved with feline precision, and 6 luminous eyes regarded him in analytical silence. This was Commander Virellah Threx, whose war record was classified and whose victories were rumored to be studied by even admirals. Cadet Nolan, she said, voice like chimes over metal. You will report to Hangar V9 in 1 hour. Tardiness is not tolerated. Dismissed. She turned before he could respond. Jace showed up early. The hangar was cavernous, humming with the low throb of parked starships. Virellah stood beside a compact scout cruiser, arms crossed, posture unreadable. I don't understand, he said, finally breaking the silence. Why am I paired with you? Because I asked, she replied. Jace blinked. Why me? You're an Earthborn cadet. Low-gravity physiology. Unrefined tactics. Little exposure to multi-species combat scenarios. I need to determine whether humans can adapt, or whether your species is inherently limited. Jace bristled. You think I'm a test subject? No. I think you're potential. She turned to the cruiser. Get in. Lesson 1 begins. The first week was brutal. She trained him in low-atmo maneuvering until his limbs trembled from strain. She made him spar blindfolded against a droid that simulated multi-angle attacks. She quizzed him on Kirelli battle formations while upside down in simulated zero-G. She never complimented. Never smiled. Never even used his first name. But she taught. And Jace, determined not to be underestimated, learned. By the end of the second week, he could read her 6 eyes for emotion. By the third, he was countering her training droid's attacks. On the fourth, she took him into deep space. Why out here? He asked as they hovered near a derelict asteroid base. Because in silence, she replied, we face the worst of ourselves. And learn who we are. Then came the test. An actual emergency transmission cut through their ship's comms, a freighter under pirate attack, drifting near the neutral zone. Most cadets would be forbidden from engaging. But Virellah didn't hesitate. We're closest. Strap in. As they warped into the asteroid belt, the battle unfolded fast. 2 pirate skiffs were hammering the freighter's shields. I can try a manual EMP surge, Jay suggested, his hands racing over the console. Disrupt their nav. Virellah paused. Risky, but acceptable. She let him lead. Jace darted the cruiser between asteroid cover, activated pulse shields to ricochet fire, and with a precise magnetic burst, fried one skiff's nav array. Direct hit, he shouted. The second skiff turned to pursue, but Virellah took over. Her flying, swift and poetic, distracted the pirates long enough for coalition security ships to arrive. After the freighter was secured, Virellah landed their cruiser on a moon surface. "You disobeyed protocol," she said. Jace froze. "I thought." She raised a hand. "But you read the battlefield. Adapted under pressure. And saved lives." A pause. "You remind me of someone I once knew." He tilted his head. "Who?" "My first human commander. She died in a war your people barely remember. But she taught me that honor isn't genetic." A soft exhale. "You have that same fire." For the first time, her voice held warmth. Weeks turned into months. Their bond deepened, not through words, but shared survival. They mapped uncharted sectors, recovered lost satellites, even endured a biohazard lockdown together, where Jace accidentally introduced her to Earth coffee and earned a rare Corelli chuckle. "Humans poison themselves for clarity?" she asked, sipping again. "Some call it productivity," he said, grinning. She didn't laugh, but her eyes shimmered brighter. But not all viewed their success fondly. On return to the academy, they were summoned to a tribunal. An admiral scowled down at them. "Commander Threx, you violated mentorship regulations by engaging a cadet in unauthorized combat. Cadet Nolan, you exceeded your operational clearance. This could have cost lives." Jace stood. "With respect, sir, we saved lives. That's irrelevant to protocol." Before Jace could argue more, Virellah stepped forward. "If punishment is necessary," she said, "assign it to me alone. I authorized the engagement." "Commander," Jace began. "Cadet Nolan," she said without turning. "This was my command. And my choice." The tribunal deliberated. In the end, they issued a reprimand, but the charges were dismissed. Still, the message was clear. Not all believed in mentorships that crossed species lines or redefined traditional roles. Their final evaluation came during a joint wargame simulation. Cadets versus instructors, simulating a planetary siege. Jace was placed in command of a mixed-species squad. It was a test not just of tactics, but leadership. As expected, the scenario turned dire. Communications were jammed. Supplies were limited. Morale faltered. Jace's team huddled in a makeshift bunker, uncertain. "What now?" Aziron asked. "We're outnumbered 2-1. Jace glanced at the map. He remembered what Virellah had once told him, "In silence, we find who we are." He breathed in, then looked to the team. "We're not fighting to win," he said. "We're fighting to prove we can adapt. They expect us to fall back. So let's surprise them. We'll split. Feint left, but send our strongest climbers up the ridge. Hit their flank at dawn." It worked. The instructors never saw the ridge assault coming. Jace's team captured the objective. When the simulation ended, the instructors saluted. Jace turned and saw Virellah watching from the observation deck. For the first time, she gave him a formal Corelli salute, a gesture of equal respect. On graduation day, medals were handed out. Speeches were given. But it was the moment after the ceremony that meant the most. Jace stood by the reflecting pool outside the academy dome, watching the stars. He heard the light footsteps behind him. "You made command," she said. "I had a good teacher." Virellah regarded him. "You were never a test subject. You were a mirror. You made me reconsider how mentorship can evolve. Not command from above, but trust, grown sideways." Jace smiled. "So what now?" She extended her hand, not in salute, but something closer to human custom. A gesture of invitation.